Welcome to Blunt Advice, the short form show that delivers cannabis industry insight and information in quick hits to help you operate your cannabis on a higher level. Here are your blunt hosts, Francesca and Mike.
All right, here we are. We rose up through the year. It is December. What a year.
Woo!
All right. December's funny for me because I feel like for 11 months I'm chasing the goal to get to December, to get to the end of the year. And then you get there and it is so crazy hectic between business stuff and personal stuff and family and friends. And it's all great, but it all hits in a 30-day period.
Yes,
So
it
it's
absolutely
rough.
does. It's so overwhelming. That last month is when everything's trying to play catch up. So you're getting hit from all sides.
Yeah, especially at business, you're we got to end the year, and it becomes this big, in a lot of ways, artificial push in some ways. So you're doing all this stuff to really try to stimulate sales, but at the same time, it can be an enormous setback if you have the wrong expectations and the goals aren't right for the month. And so what we want to talk about today is how to have the best mindset going into the end of the year so that you can end the year in a great place and then start the year even better.
So this is the blunt advice on the best practices for your business at the end of year.
Yep. I think with this one, Francesca, there's two sides that we want to cover.
Yeah.
It's the business side of stuff and then also the personal side, because you can't have one without the other.
No,
That's
definitely
for sure.
not. That's
So-
for sure.
So I'll take the business
I was going to
stuff.
say, I think business goes first.
With
It's
that,
always business in the front, right?
well played. This is brought to you by Kentucky.
Oh, sorry.
So in all seriousness, on the business level, I think the one big thing mindset-wise for me is just recognize going into December that sales are probably going to be low.
Yeah.
It's usually not the strongest month for two real reasons. One, it's kind of a short month for a lot of people because they're going to close their stores for some period of time around the holidays. So it's usually a little bit shorter in terms of number of actual work days and sale type days. But secondly, a lot of stores don't want to have excess inventory on the shelves on December 31st because the accountant will be crawling up their ass asking now why that's there, because now it's a taxable event. So in many situations, that's really drives behavior for purchasing managers where they're going to keep purchases low, keep things slim on the shelves,
Right.
and really kind of hold off and let things get really bare bones until you can, get over that hump. And on January 1st, all hell breaks loose again. So that's a real big thing, and you need to understand that going in, because if you don't understand that, you're going to be frustrated because you're going to say, "Wow, I'm having a terrible month. I'm trying to end strong, and I'm ending like a weak turtle here." I don't know what. Forget that. But,
Don't be the weak turtle of the
Yeah.
holidays. Instead, no, you're right though, and I think so many people maybe think differently because they count on the holidays as a big, time of buying and consumerism and sales are happening, but you can't bank on that and neglect the business side of holding inventory and
Right.
knowing what
Yeah, there's
that
certain
means for the business. So yeah, don't count on everybody buying your stuff just because it's the holidays.
So we've got 3 tips for you to help with that mindset in December to make things really good for you in January. Number 1, keep sampling. Even though sales may be flat or non-existent in some situations, keep sampling. Keep getting your products out there in front of people, because the work you do in December will very likely pay off in January when the floodgates open up and the budgets are there to bring more material and get that back on the shelves. So very, very important. Don't get discouraged with that.
That's right. And I would say another tip is to use this time where you're not having a ton of sales to look back and understand the demographics of your customer base.
Yeah, deep dive that.
Exactly, because you've heard us talk about customer personas and ideal customers and customer avatars. So hopefully you've done all of that work and you had some expectations about who you were going to sell to, who your top customers are. Now it's time to actually look and see what happened, what expectations were met, which ones weren't, and figure out why.
Yeah.
It's a great deep analysis time, because that's going to help propel you into the new year, because it's a perfect natural kind of stopping place of saying, okay, we're going to end what we were doing and start a new thing.
Yeah, slightly skewed
Right.
based on some new knowledge. If you can't get a sale, get knowledge. It's always there.
Absolutely, every single time.
And speaking of that, this is one not many people do, but if you have the manpower, the resources, the flexibility to create what I would call, say, a quick ship program for if somebody does run out of product and they need just a quarter or some small amounts of product from you, and you can get that to them same day, that will position you to steal market share from your competitors who have their doors closed during this time. So if you can do it, do it. I think it's a really strong idea, and I think that your purchasers will love you for it.
Yeah. Honestly, even if you can't do that, think about all those little programs that you can almost trial run through the holidays, because the holidays are a great reason. Like, hey, we're going to offer gift wrapping, or we're going to offer delivery just for this certain period of time, just for the holidays. It's a great time to experiment.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's plenty you can do to get your mindset right and set yourself up for success on the business side of things. But, you know, your customers aren't all business. There is this personal side where you want to make sure that you have a nice ending personal touch with them at the end of the year. So
That's really important.
it's really important to not make that personal touch the hard sell. Like, know that you're not going to get
It's a
sales.
personal touch in the face.
No, you're not going to get sales. So maybe leave with a good feeling, leave top of mind, and just check in on them and maybe ask about, you know, how their holiday plans are, or, you know, what they're most looking forward to, what they're doing with their time off. You can congratulate them on such a great year and meeting some of their successes that they had and their goals that they had set out for themselves. It's such a great time to get in touch and leave a positive, lasting impression that is personal, that builds that connection that we know will carry through into the new year.
And I think people appreciate that too, because they're getting bombarded all day, every day from people coming in, buy this, sample this, sample that. And like, you come in and you're not even bringing product into play. And you're like, hey, I just want to reach out real quick. I don't want to take a lot of time, but thank you so much. Love working with you and your team. I love watching your growth this year, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, what do you, like all that stuff. It doesn't take long. And it's like a breath of fresh air. That
You don't ask anything of me? Oh my God, thank you. Yeah. And make sure you do it early.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
You don't want to hit them with that on December 22nd or, you know, the 31st. Like, that's too late. You're already lost in the mix of everything. Get there early and just be like, hey, if I don't get another chance to talk to you, and it's December 9th or whatever, I thought you did a great year. It was great working with you. I'm looking forward to what we're building together in the new year. You know, I hope you're taking some time off.
I love doing it early, and I can tell you this from experience. If you really list out, like, here's the people I want to touch base with, and you think about how long it's realistically going to take to get in touch with them, you need to start at the beginning of December, like you were saying, because it takes longer than you think. So just allow for more time, so that way you don't appear like you're freight training them because you waited too damn long, right? So that's a big one.
And it's a weight off your own shoulders. You have enough to do. Yeah. It's the end of the year.
So I do personally like the game we play internally, which is see who gets the first, like, happy holidays or Merry Christmas, because that damn thing's going to hit in November. I feel it.
It is. It absolutely is. We're trending that way. Oh, man.
You know, about that, you're talking about your big, close group of customers.
Yes.
But for your secondary people that you can't make the personal connection with a visit or a call, send them a text.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing, just to let them know you're thinking about them and wishing them well and looking forward to good things next year. Like something as simple as that, you can basically copy, paste, customize stuff and bust off like 50 of them in an hour without a problem. I'm not kidding.
No, you're so right, and it comes across more thoughtful than you would think, because nobody's taking the time to do that with second-tier customers. Yeah. And so you're not just saying, you're only worth my time if you buy X amount from me, or if we establish this kind of monetary value. You're a part of my business growth, and I appreciate you, point blank.
I like it when I get those.
Yeah.
I don't feel slighted.
Not at all.
In some ways, I'm like kind of relieved that, like, all right, now I don't have to have an hour conversation with somebody that not, you know, but I do feel like I feel valued when people do that.
You know what would be funny is if you had somebody in like your top tier, and then you get a text from them and you're like, I'm in their second tier.
It's not reciprocal. This is good. And I think this all, like, between the business side and the personal side, getting your mindset in the right place is so important. That will lead into a follow-up episode we're going to have here about how to end the year right on the personal side. So this is
For
just
you,
kind of
yourself, not your customer base.
yeah, thank you. And this is like stuff we've learned over time, because there's nothing worse than starting off the holidays pissed off, fried, your family and friends hate you, every present sucks. Like, that's not good. That's not relaxing. You're not going to recharge. You're not going to enjoy the buzz of the holidays.
Right.
So the next episode is going to be about that. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully that's of value too.
Yeah. All right. So let's roll this all up and take a couple of quick hits from this blunt advice.
Number one, customers are busy. So start early and do your connections with them on a personal basis. It'll be a breath of fresh air for them and rewarding for you.
Yeah. And number two, make sure that you keep sampling and think of it as you are sampling for success in January, not sales in December.
And number three, happy holidays.
Happy holidays!
As always, we want to hear from you. So please email us your blunt feedback to bluntadvice@infusedmedia.io.
All right. Well, I'm Francesca.
And I'm Mike. And the time it took you to properly pronounce Good King applesauce.
Good King Wenceslas.
What Good King?
Good King Wenceslas. Wenceslas.
Carson Wentz lost?
Happy holidays.